Hey, I'm ChristopherJMUA and welcome back to my channel. Unless you've never been here, of course, then welcome. I'm so glad you've stopped by. Today, we're going to be reviewing the Tarte Hydroflex Serum Foundation. Among a couple of other things, I've also got the new Lancome All Over Concealer, the Huda Beauty Glowish Bronzing Powder, and the Jouer Blush Bloom Cheek Sticks. So we've got a few new items, but I'm most excited about the foundation. I'm ready to test this out, see how it wears on the skin, see how it wears over time, and see if maybe we have a beautiful finish to the foundation. So if you'd like to see what the foundation looks like, if you'd like to see how these other products perform and how they work with the foundation, as well as just hang out with me for a little bit, then stay exactly where you are, keep doing exactly what you're doing, and keep on watching. So the Tarte Hydroflex Serum Foundation is $39 and it comes in 32 shades. And the range is pretty fair. I mean, not like fair like it's light, like fair like it's a pretty decent range. I'll try to remember to leave a little snapshot of the swatches for the shade range right here, just so you guys can see what it looks like. And I got this from Sephora directly in the store. And this is supposed to be a medium coverage foundation that looks super skin-like and never creases because it flexes with your skin as it moves throughout the day. So here's for hoping that that actually is the case. Then the Lancome All Concealer, I got this from Ulta. This is $29 and comes in 20 different shades. I got the shade 215 Buff. And the foundation, I got the shade 25 in Light Medium Neutral. The Huda Glowish Powder, I also got this from Sephora as well. I got the shade 01 Light, and this is $31. This actually comes in 5 different shades. Not just ranges of light to dark, but also a little bit of a different undertone for a couple of them. I think that's really cool. And last, the Jouer Lip and Cheek Duo. I got the combo Uplift Me / Amuse Me. This is more of like a neutral kind of shade, and I figured it would work not knowing what look I was gonna create. Speaking of the look that I created, if you guys want to see this look and you want to see the method to the madness using the Gerard Cosmetics Star Ranch palette, I will leave this video linked right up here just so you can check out the look being created if you feel like it. Now these Blush and Bloom sticks come in 6 different colorways and there's 2 different finishes to them as well. 4 of them are matte finishes and 2 are shimmer finishes. And before we jump in with the foundation, I want to let you guys know I did use the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer as my primer today. Now let's try this foundation and see what it's like. Now here's the component that the packaging comes in. The bottle looks so adorable. It looks like a cute little squeeze tube. And it is a cute little squeeze tube. I'm sorry that's so overexposed, but it's a really cute baby blue and it says Shake Well on the back, and I'm so glad it has the shade name on the front, so it'll be easy to pick it out if I do get a summer shade as well, a summer and winter shade. Now since this is a serum-based foundation, I'm assuming it's gonna be a little more watery, most likely. So I am gonna begin with a brush application, then I'll probably blend it out with a sponge afterward. You guys know me, I like to build up that coverage first. So let's try to squeeze this out and see if it's like water. Oh, I didn't shake it. Oops, that was almost bad. That sounds exactly like water. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, that is dropping like a skin tint or like a tinted moisturizer. I should have counted the drops. I didn't. I apologize. It was probably like 10 or something. And let's start to go in and see what happens. Good shade. Okay. It smells weird. I don't know like what, but it smells kind of weird. Oh yes. Okay, the shade is just about perfect. Love that neutral undertone. And I'm just gonna pull this down on the right side of my face and see what it ends up looking like. Okay, well that didn't seem to spread very far. About 10 drops got me this area, but the coverage and finish looks stunning. That right there looks beautiful. So I guess let's do a few more drops. I'm gonna count this time though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so more like 11. That was 11. I think this is gonna be a foundation I'm gonna be very happy with. Obviously, I can't say that for sure just yet, but the finish is gorgeous. The coverage is great. It definitely is a medium coverage. The moment you put it on, it's a medium coverage. I would bet that I could go in with a little bit of moisturizer, mix it in with that, and turn it into just like a quick colored veil of color, and it would be just gorgeous. But I'm completely okay with this coverage. I love how it's sitting on the skin, and I love how it's sitting in my creases. It didn't like melt in to where it made the lines stick out even more. It literally is moving with my skin. Granted, it's not dry yet, so I don't know after I set it if it's gonna stay the same way, but for now, none of my creases are sticking as I move, so that's fantastic. I'm gonna go ahead and just start with a sponge on the left side, since I just used the brush on the other side, and see if I can get a different kind of coverage built up. So I'm gonna use the same amount first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now just start building it up. Okay, got that all blended out. Now let me check it out. Okay, a sponge application. That is the kind of finish that I look for on an everyday basis while I'm at work. Something that's super light, something that just gives me a little bit of color, but it doesn't look like I'm wearing anything, mainly so that it doesn't all just transfer off onto my mask while I'm cutting somebody's hair. So 10 drops with the sponge, it absorbed enough of the excess product that it turned it into more of a light medium coverage instead of a full medium coverage. So that's really good to know. I think I might actually enjoy that on a regular work day. But today is not a regular work day. Today is a sit at home and film YouTube videos kind of day. And those days call for 40 drops. So 10 more. 11 more, sorry. And I'm just gonna go ahead and reapply all over, make sure everywhere is covered with about the same amount of foundation. Then I'll go in with a sponge all over my face and just go ahead and blend it all in together, give a perfect soft finish. So far so good with this foundation. Guys, I love the finish of this. I think this looks so beautiful. And just the way it looks on my fine, not so fine lines, it makes my skin still look like skin, but covered. I look like I just have perfect skin anyway. But now let's make my really dark under eyes look perfect too. Now I'm gonna try the Lancome All Over Concealer. Okay, here we go. It's got very bougie packaging. We have our little Lancome logo on top. It just looks really classy. I like that. And I'm just gonna go ahead, before I apply this to my under eyes, I'm gonna go ahead and get out my Tarte the Silk powder and use that as my under eye setting powder, and then my It Cosmetics Bye Bye Pressed powder to set the rest of my face. Now, of course, that's gonna be after I go in with the Jouer Blush Bloom stick, but want to get my powders ready so they will be open and ready to set my face before I start creasing, especially on my under eyes. All right. Oh my gosh, we have a giant applicator paddle. Looks like it's a doe foot, and it's super wide on one side, but really precise and tiny on the other side. You could get like right in there. Okay, so here we go. Gonna do the wider side here. I'm gonna take the tiny side and get right in the inner corner because that's where I have the darkest skin at for my under eyes. Now let's blend that out. Those melted in together like they were made to melt in together. And the shade undertone, I guess, is so perfect just to work together. And both formulas are just so beautiful. My skin is gonna be good today. I think it's gonna be a good skin day. Yay! Now before I set all this in place, let's now use the Jouer Blush and Bloom Cheek and Lip Duo. Oh, this is called Uplift. That's the actual name of it. And here is the shade Amuse Me. We got a little cap on it. Okay, there's Amuse Me. Pretty, nice and soft. And here is Uplift Me. Ooh, okay. So more of a softer pinky peach and then more of a vibrant kind of rosy ish. I like it. Well, I think for today, I'm gonna go with the Uplift Me side of that one there. I'm just gonna go ahead and take what's on my hand and start patting it over the concealer and foundation. We're just gonna pat it in super lightly. It's weird feeling this foundation on the skin because it's sat long enough to dry just a little bit, and it almost feels like I've powdered it and sprayed it with setting spray, like it's already been set. Okay, got some applied, and even just that little bit went on so nicely, and it didn't disrupt any of the foundation underneath. It didn't disrupt any of the primer or anything. Nothing moved around, just sitting right on top. But I'm gonna take that one step further and use this purple Morphe brush. It's more like a blush brush, and I'm just gonna go ahead and dip right into that Uplift Me shade. I would like to see how this will apply just going straight from the stick to the brush rather than putting the stick directly on my face. So I feel like I've got a pretty fair amount built up. And now let's start on the other side and see how she looks with a brush. Ooh, that built up so much faster using that brush instead of my hand. I'm just always so afraid to immediately take one of these sticks onto the skin because I'm afraid it is gonna break up all the foundation. But let's just pat it along where my blush normally goes and we'll see if it'll just transfer a little bit of color for me. It's official. I'm sold. I need more shades of that, and I'm gonna be getting more shades of that because that is beautiful. Oh, I should try one on my lips just for the sake of saying I did. So I guess I'll use the Amuse Me side instead of the Uplift Me side and just take some on my finger and put it on my lips. Feels kind of dry on the lips. Weird. This feels like it's kind of like a velvet matte mousse, if that makes any kind of sense. But it did add a little bit of flush of color to the lips, so it did its job. I would imagine I could probably build it up even more, but I don't want to today. I'm gonna be using a completely different lip product, so I am fine with it as is. So now I'm gonna go ahead and set my face, then we'll move on to the Glowish Soft Radiance Bronzer. Bronzer time! I'm gonna go ahead and open this up, and like I said, this was in the shade Light 01. I considered getting the second shade down because these are fairly marbly. The component, by the way, this packaging is so cool looking. It feels not very cool looking, but it looks very cool looking. It's really pretty. But because it has this mix of light and dark, I thought this might be a little too light. So I thought maybe the darker one would be a better idea, but I didn't choose it. So we're just gonna see how this goes on. I'm gonna be using my Morphe E59 brush. This is the perfect bronzer brush. And let's just start to build it up and see what happens. Okay, a little bit of warmth already. That's nice. This is like a complete 360 from the other Huda Bronzer, the Tantour Contour and Bronzing Cream. That stuff is super pigmented, super fast, and then you gotta kind of rein it back after you get it applied. This is pretty much the opposite of that. This starts out really soft, really buildable, but it builds up to be just as strongly pigmented. Well, maybe not quite as strongly pigmented, but it is really pigmented once you build it up. And I personally prefer that because I like having a little bit more versatility. You know, I was originally so afraid of this bronzer because it says Soft Radiance. And usually when something says radiant and it's a complexion product, I assume that either means it's gonna have a bunch of little glitter flecks in it to make it look radiant, or it's gonna have a bunch of glycerin in it to give it that wet kind of sheeny look to be radiant. But this is just the perfect amount of, I'm guessing, maybe light reflecting pigments inside the actual powder itself, because it just made it look like skin still. Bronzed, albeit, but skin. So just bronze skin. I'm quite enjoying that, as a matter of fact. Now I'm just gonna spritz with a little bit of the Morphe X Jeffree Star setting spray. Okay, I am sprayed, refreshed, and completely set. So now I'm gonna go off camera and finish all of the other makeup that I have left, which is eyes and lips and brows. And then I'm gonna go ahead and go about the rest of my day just living my best life, and I will come back whenever I'm ready to check in. It may be the final check-in because it's already getting kind of late in the afternoon, but I will let you guys know how much time has elapsed since this initial application. So I'll see you guys very soon. We have now officially hit the 7-hour mark, so let's take a close look and see what's going on. I'm kind of disappointed that I am having a little bit of creasing on my forehead. You can kind of see there that there is creasing. I thought it was going to continue moving with my skin throughout the 7 hours and not be creasy, but I did set it with powder, so perhaps maybe that changed something with the formula. Maybe by putting other products on top, it changes it a little bit, but point is, it didn't flex with my face. I did crease a little bit. However, I will say, the formula and the finish that I have on my skin currently is beautiful. I didn't get too oily looking, it doesn't look dry or cakey, it looks really natural, but it still looks like I'm covered, which is awesome. So for the Tarte Hydroflex foundation, I think I would recommend this. If you like a medium coverage that you can thin out with a moisturizer and make it more of a light coverage, or keep it medium and get really good color correction and a nice layer of foundation, then this is something for you. If you want it to be the fullest of the full and you want a mask for your makeup for the day, this is not that foundation. And if you want just a quick light wash of color, this isn't that either. It's gonna be a little bit more powerful than that. It's gonna push through, and it seems to have pretty good longevity aside from my creasing. Then the Lancome concealer. At first, this was really creasy before I went in with my eyeshadow under my eyes and kind of blended out my creases. Then you couldn't really see it anyway. But at first, it did crease a little bit. However, I did not bake like I normally do with my setting powder, so that could have potentially helped stop the creasing in the long term, because I do have very creasy under eyes, but it looks great. So I'm not really gonna fault it too much for now. Just initial first impressions, I like it. It's just creasy. Then the Jouer Blush and Lipstick, essentially, and the Glowish Bronzer. Both of these I really enjoyed, and I definitely would recommend both. I'm for sure gonna be investing in more colors in this, because this is perfect for just my everyday, but I want more colors. I want to venture into brighter, more bold horizons with the Jouer Blush and Lipstick. And then the Glowish Bronzer is just a beautiful bronzer. It's not too luminous. It doesn't really pull way too much attention to the bronzy parts of the skin, but it makes your skin look healthy. I think this could work for just about any skin type because it's such a subtle luminosity that it just looks natural and beautiful. So all in all, I think all four of the products that I tried today were definitely wins. The foundation and concealer weren't quite up to the tippy top of the grading scale, if you will, as a first impression, but I like them both and I'm excited to try them more. And with that concludes my final thoughts on the Tarte Hydroflex Foundation, the Lancome All Over Concealer, the Jouer Blush and Lipstick, and the Glowish Bronzing Powder. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be really awesome if you wanted to give me a thumbs up, just to let me know that you did. It does mean the world to me, and it helps me understand what type of content you guys enjoy. Also, if you like this look and you want to see more looks like them, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok. My username is the same for everything. It's just ChristopherJMUA. And if you gain nothing out of this video, if you gain nothing out of any of my videos, please at least gain this. And that is to always remember and never forget that you are absolutely beautiful. And I love you guys. Bye.